In 2019, USAID Soma Umenye supported Rwanda Education Board to design a local early grade reading assessment, also known as LEGRA. The aim of LEGRA is to assess the reading skills in Kinyarwanda of all learners in P1, P2, and P3. LEGRA is conducted at the end of Term 1 and 2 and helps teachers to understand the progress of their students in order to support them accordingly. USAID Soma Umenye piloted LEGRA in September 2019 in 5 districts: Kicukiro in Kigali City, Rutsiro in Western Province, Kirehe in Eastern Province, Burera in Northern Province, and Gisagara in Southern Province. The LEGRA pilot results showed that there were some students that were not able to read a single word at their grade level. To support these children to improve their reading performance, USAID Soma Umenye, in collaboration with the Rwanda Education Board, developed a remediation strategy called the Kinyarwanda Reading Camp, or KRC. The KRC, which is conducted for 3 hours per day for 1 week during the school holiday, is an opportunity for teachers to provide intensive instructional supports to students who are not reading at their grade level. The following video documents 5 main phases of the KRC that was piloted from September 5th through December 18th, 2019, namely, the development of instructional materials, teacher training, the pre-diagnostic test, the KRC pilot, and post-KRC LEGRA test. In October 2019, the KRC process kicked off with the development of special instructional materials to be used during the KRC program. A team of 25 early grade reading experts composed of local consultants, the Rwanda Education Board, Kinyarwanda teachers, and USAID Soma Umenye developed the instructional materials. The special instructional materials were then pre-tested in P1, P2, and P3 classes at GS Nyamata Catholic in Bugesera District. The purpose of pre-testing KRC instructional materials was to verify their effectiveness and feasibility before being used during the KRC pilot. Following the materials pretest, USAID Soma Umenye, in collaboration with the Rwanda Education Board and District Directors of Education, selected 10 schools in Kicukiro District and 10 schools in Burera District to pilot the KRC. After the identification of the schools, all of their Kinyarwanda teachers teaching P1, P2, and P3 classes were trained on the KRC methodology. In order to ensure maximum participation in the KRC, schools informed the parents of students whose LEGRA results showed that they were not reading at grade level about the objectives and expected outcomes of the KRC. Parents were requested to send their children to the KRC and to visit them throughout the camp in order to show support and ensure student attendance.
Hari akarusho nungutse nkurikije uko najyaga mbigenza. Mu by'ukuri hari ubwo umuntu yigisha agasa nkaho hari ibyo arengaho. Ibyo rero urengaho nibyo bituma wa mwana atsindwa ntabashe kumenya gusoma. ariko ubu buryo batwigishije cyane cyane bwo kwifashisha imfashanyigisho ifatika umwana areba akaza agakorakora turiya dukino tujyanye n'inyigisho turirimba inyuguti twize turirimba ingombajwi twize noneho bikajyana noneho n'udukino tunyuranye cyane cyane nk'iriya mikino ya zapu waranshimishije cyane ko nabonye ari umukino ushobora gukangura umwana bigatuma hari icyo amenya atarazi.
The Kinyarwanda Reading Camp started with a diagnostic test on day 1. The KRC diagnostic test was used to determine the reading level of individual students. Once their level was determined, P2 and P3 students were split into different groups to allow the teacher to provide level-specific instruction. All P1 students were kept in the same group due to the fact that the support needed does not vary much among P1 students.
Muri gahunda byanga byakunda mfite icyizere ko azavamo hari ibintu yaba ashobora kumenya nk'umuntu urangije umwaka mu wa mbere nta sana ni mu wa kabiri wa mbere yarawize ubwo ni mfite system yo kuvuga ngo ngiye kumusubiza mu dubuze mwaka wa mbere
ngewe kugira ngo mwohereze kubera ko hari icyo nabonye uyu mukobwa kuva mu wa mbere bari mu wa kane bagiye badusaba kubohereza mu biruhuko cyane nkabona biri kumufasha noneho mu gusoma nk'uko bagiye kwiga mu biruhuko pe atazi gusoma neza ibiruhuko arabyiga barangije neza buryo batangiye mu ndi mwaka bahita bajyana akarere ngo nibaje gusoma mbona azanye ibihembo biranshimisha niyo mpamvu narede kuyegemusi nawe ngo aje kwiga mu biruhuko.
During the KRC, teachers used a KRC-specific teacher's guide with engaging teaching methodology to boost the reading skills of the students and provide a fun and interactive learning environment. The KRC methodology is dominated by hands-on reading and writing activities. Examples of these activities include using sound and picture cards. The sound and picture cards are visuals to aid the students. The students enjoy playing with the cards, which help them to learn how to read and write letters, syllables, and words. Using songs and motions to introduce new sounds. Songs and motions are engaging activities for the students. Which also aid in memory recall. Using big books. The big books are printed in large print with vibrant illustrations, which help the student to follow the story with curiosity and enable them to answer comprehension questions. During the KRC, the teachers use formative assessment to check the student's progress. Depending on the results of the formative assessment, teachers can provide more support to students who are not advancing at the desired rate, or provide specific activities to those students who are on track.
Abanyeshuri nabo baragukenera igihe biga bahumeka kuka keza utanga. Ubaha kandi amahumbezi yawe neza bakaruhuka mu mutwe bakiga neza. Murabona abanyeshuri bagiye hehe? Bagiye ku ishuri.
At the end of the Kinyarwanda Reading Camp, teachers administered a post-KRC LEGRA test, which was the same LEGRA that students had taken before joining the KRC. The administration of the post-KRC LEGRA allowed teachers to compare the reading levels of the KRC students prior to and after participating in the KRC program. The post-KRC LEGRA showed that many zero-score students benefited from KRC, as evidenced by improved reading skills. Analysis of the results of tests before and after KRC found that the majority of students saw their reading scores improve over the 10-day camp.
Aho turi kujyana babonye 0 mu gusoma ndetse no mu kwandika, ariko muri bose ntabwo iyo aho tugeze ukubona ko umwana hari ibyo ari kwiyunguramo akagira amagambo amwe namwe asoma no mu kwandika hari ibyo ari kwandika. Ntabwo ari bose ari kumbona, abenshi bafite aho bavuye aho bageze, kuko ntabwo babaje ariko kureba ntibagire ikintu basubiza, ntibagire basome ntibandike, ariko kubona ko nibura ari ikintu ari umwana ari kubita ari gusoma kandi agifiteho uko ariko atari kujijinganya.
While most students had still not reached the desired grade level benchmarks, the results did show that about 20% of P3 students did reach the P3 benchmark of 40 correct words per minute. The post-KRC LEGRA showed that the camp had turned some vulnerable learners into readers who are now more likely to stay in school and complete their primary schooling. After a successful pilot of KRC, the program will be expanded to nationwide coverage in 2020. The KRC will be conducted during school holidays, following the end of Term 1 and Term 2, using the results from Term 1 and Term 2 LEGRA to determine student participation. The Kinyarwanda Reading Camp program has been created to meet the needs of these students who struggle learning to read. Reading fluently before the end of P3 is key to improving a student's ability to learn other subjects and become a productive member of society. KRC is organized by the Rwanda Education Board in collaboration with USAID Soma Umenye with the support of USAID Rwanda.